Welcome back to Moans and Bones Reactions. I am Othaya, the Bones, and this is...
Luna, the Moans.
And today we have a very long one from a channel that we maybe hinted we were going to react to in the past. It is Rotten Mango. And which one have we picked today? Una picked this one, so...
Well, it's one I'm pretty sure I haven't seen, or at least don't remember, because I have gone through her catalog quite a bit. But
He's quite a fan.
Yeah, they're good to
I have
listen
not.
to while I must.
I've watched one here and there, but not a ton of them.
I believe this is one where somebody's found on the highway. I'm actually blanking on the title all of a sudden. I'm so sorry.
Women vanished after spotting toddler on the side of the highway. Case of Carly Russell.
Yeah, I'm not recalling this case at all, so this will be interesting. I'm like, what's going on there?
Definitely will be interesting. So this one is long, guys. It's 55 minutes itself, and plus, you know, like we liked our yap. So it's going to be quite a long one, so make sure you have a snack, take breaks if you need, and let's get into it.
Oh, Stephanie.
It is exhausting to exist in this world.
Wow, that is an understatement. Understatement.
It's like a fight within yourself, right?
If I feel like this multiverse that we have now landed in is this one is extremely tiring, which is why I like playing games and reacting to stuff instead of dealing with the other crap in it. The graveyard is just nice and peaceful, so come join us here. Oh, and also, I guess real quick before we get into it a little bit further, sorry, Stephanie, but you are now our graveyard gang and our gravies. So thank you for joining us in this long video today, gravies. And we hope to utilize that a bit more in other ways in the near future.
Yeah.
Your personality tells you, hey, go over there and help that stranger.
There we go. Something will happen on screen.
He's struggling to load his groceries into his car. But then you have the voice in the back of your head. And maybe my videos did this to you, but it's like, no. The minute you go over there, you're going to turn around, grab another bag of groceries. He's going to bonk you on the head, throw you into his trunk, and you're going to end up dead on a pig farm. I get it. It's a lot. And social media doesn't help. There's always a new thing on social media
that surprised me.
Is like, be on the lookout for
that escalated.
Zip ties on your car door. You walk out of Target, there's a zip tie on your car door. Human trafficking. Dollar bills laced with drugs.
What the
Paper bags on your windshields. Baby seats in the parking lot. And the one that I think of most is the baby on the side of the road, or the baby crying outside your door at night. What would you do if you saw a child on the side of a busy interstate, alone, distraught?
I'll gotta help.
Right? You would have to stop. You would have to stop and help. There's no other option.
Yeah.
That was a huge question that was lingering in the air this past week.
Not just on I feel like I would stop, but then knowing how things are nowadays, I maybe would stop nearby and call and keep an eye but not go. If I was alone, I would go up to it alone. Oh, it's so dicey though.
I mean, I'm all right, guys. Fun fact: my bony self is 6'3", and I'm a large dude. I'm pretty big. I probably would approach, but I would do it cautiously in the effort to to ascertain the situation. What state is the child in? Why are they doing that? Is there someone else nearby? Other vehicles operating in a weird way? I mean, there's so many factors I would be taking in, but I would approach probably cautiously. But I wouldn't not approach. Probably, I'd probably do something.
True.
Social media, but really on mainstream media. Every news outlet was asking this question. Would you stop on the highway if you saw a small child that was just standing there? There was no other car there. Nobody else was there. Would you stop?
Yeah.
July 13th, 2023. So a week ago,
I'd probably call first. At least there's backup on the way.
Okay, she said there was
no other car there. Nobody
no
else
other
was
car.
There. Would you stop?
No one else there visually, but they could be hiding.
July 13th, 2023. So a week ago, if you're listening to the audio the day it comes out, 25-year-old Carly Russell stopped. She said that she had spotted a small toddler on the side of the highway, of a busy highway,
Ooh,
on
it's
her way
dark
home from
too.
work. It was about
Yeah.
9:30 p.m., so it's not super late. It's not like 3:30 in the morning. There's nobody else around. It's not a time that makes you go, ooh, that's weird. Maybe this is a setup. 9:30, it's
9:30 is
pretty
pretty
early.
weird. That's
She
not
called-
that
It's
early.
still late.
That's not that
Yeah.
early. If it's dark out like that, it's not late,
But
but it's not early.
I see what she means. There could be some late owls still coming home at this point or shopping.
I feel if she
you
was
might
saying
get
like
more than one
7,
person
7:30,
shopping.
maybe 8 would be
Yeah.
more the vibe there. I feel like 9:30.
But
Most people are home at that point, especially a kid. I guess that's where it's
Yeah.
at. Is a kid would not be out normally at 9:30 on an interstate.
yeah,
911
let's say you
code.
might get more than one person to stop.
Oh, true. Well,
Two,
yeah,
like
right.
2 people will pull over and be like, "Oh, what's going on?" Unfortunately, I guess that didn't
I'd
happen
put on the
here.
emergency lights and maybe pull over and then wait for someone else to pull over. That could
Yeah.
work
Alert them of this unattended
if you want to be
child.
safe.
There was no car parked on the shoulder, so it's not like a family had stopped on the side to get out and the child got out of the car. The child was alone. She called 911. They said, okay, can you stay right there and we'll be there in like a few minutes. She hangs up, then she calls her brother's girlfriend. She stays on the phone with her, waiting for the police to arrive, but maybe Carly is afraid that the kid is going to run off into the woods. So most highways are stationed, and there's usually like wooded areas nearby, right? Maybe she's worried about that, or maybe she's concerned that the kid is going to run into oncoming traffic. So she pulls over, so she gets out of her car. And her brother's girlfriend could hear her asking this child if the child was okay. She asked about 3 times before she started screaming. All her brother's girlfriend could do was listen helplessly on the phone. She heard Carly scream. She heard rustling noises. She kept screaming Carly's name, but there was no audible response other than what sounded like a struggle. She didn't hear any other voices or people talking, but it definitely sounded like something very, very bad had happened. Her brother's girlfriend happened to be at the Russell family home, so she rushed into Carly's parents' room and motioned for Carly's mom to rush over, and she's quickly trying to explain what's going on, and her mom starts screaming into the phone, Carly, are you okay? Are you there? She tries using her phone to call Carly. No response. The police would arrive at that scene in the highway about 5 minutes later, less than 5 minutes, like 4 minutes later. Carly's car was left unattended. Her driver's side door was left wide open. Her purse with her Apple Watch inside were in the front seat of her car, and in the grass near the wooded area off the highway was Carly's wig and her phone in the grass on the ground. And Carly was gone.
And the kid?
What the
Gone.
fuck?
No one was
They
there.
snatched her
She
wig
had
off.
gone
Rude.
missing, and all
Little
initial
levity.
signs pointed to an abduction, or at least that's what netizens thought. The stories, the urban legends that merged with real-life reports started to kind
Wait, an
of mush
abduction?
together, and a lot of
Oh,
netizens were
come on.
concerned, and they asked, what if it was human traffickers? What if they used
Okay,
a little
that
toddler
kind of
to
abduction,
lure in
yeah,
helpful
sure.
women to come out of their cars and then snatch
I thought
them?
they meant aliens.
What if that's what happened to Carly? If that's the case, would they even find her? Would they ever even
You'll
find
never
the human
suspect till it is
traffickers? The only person that would know for sure what happened on that highway that night would be Carly Russell, and she was
Or the
gone
child.
until she
Yeah.
wasn't. Just 2 days later, exactly 49 hours later, Carly showed up to her
What?
parents' home barefoot. She was back. And the world had so
What?
many questions. What happened during the past 49 hours? How did you escape? How did you find your way back home? Where is the child? All of these are very reasonable questions. But because of the intrigue, because of the mystery, because of the almost evasiveness that Carly had, and a lot to do with the internet's obsession for conspiracy theories and a lot of inconsistencies in the case, the question slowly comes to, is Carly Russell even telling the truth? And unfortunately, I think some of the answers coming out right now are a lot worse than what we thought could be.
What the
He's a
fuck?
skin changer now.
Yeah, is that it? Wendigo? Or just a shapeshifter?
They have specialties in that.
Yeah. Shapeshifting. Oh
As
gosh,
always,
this is a
full
big
show
one.
notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. This case, along with the arrest of the Gilgo Beach murder suspect, has been filling up my inbox and DMs. We are
It'd be
currently
weird
working
if
super
she's
hard
just
to get the Gilgo
lying,
Beach
though.
case to you guys.
But
Well, it could have been for some ulterior motive, potentially. that she concocted this event. But let's see what happens, because I'm not sure yet. I don't have enough info.
Something to note about this case. It is an ongoing case.
We just have the mystery.
Case. There have not been any arrests or warrants that have been made known to the public.
Really? Okay.
I'm sure that there's a lot that law enforcement is privy to that maybe we are not still. And since we don't have the case files or trial or anything like that, that means that this is the information we have as of now. It could very likely change, or there could be new information that comes out that changes the perspective of what we think we know now. So this episode is coming to you a day late because of a press conference that I wanted to include in all of this. Hopefully, I'm giving you guys the newest, most up-to-date recap of everything that's happened so far. And with that being said, let's get into it. Let me walk you through July 13th first. Carly Russell was a nursing student at Jefferson State Community College, but she also worked part-time at like a local day spa. So she had just finished work around 8:20 p.m. She left work, ran a few quick errands. I mean, everything sounds like a normal day. By all accounts, nothing spectacular happened. Law enforcement stated that as she drove away from work to run her first errand and her second errand, she was constantly on the phone with people that she knew. So talking to friends, family, right? She goes to pick up Mediterranean food for herself and her mother. Then she does a quick Target run to pick up a few quick snacks. And then she starts heading back home on Interstate 459. Now, side note, Carly lived with her parents. I'm not sure if her brother and her brother's girlfriend all lived in the house too, but it seems like her brother's girlfriend was at the house that night. Keep this in mind. So this is about an hour after she gets off work. She calls her brother's girlfriend and tells her that she sees a small child on the side of the highway. The child is in a white shirt and a diaper. She turns on her hazard lights and starts slowly pulling over, like slowing down and then pulling over safely on the shoulder of the highway. Her brother's girlfriend tells her...
Wait. I'm so sorry. She was just pulling over while she was on the phone with the girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
But you say she called the police already.
Oh, no. This is when her brother's girlfriend is like, oh, you need to call the cops. Don't get out of the car.
Okay.
So she's like, oh, okay, let me call the cops right now. So as she's
okay.
slowing down, she's calling the cops.
Got it.
And then she gets on the call with dispatch, and the 911 call was recently released in the press conference yesterday, July 19th.
Wow.
And it starts with Carly stating that she's on I-459, and there's just a kid that's walking by themselves. Now, a lot of the conversation initially is about if she's going southbound or northbound and where exactly, what's the mile marker. And then the dispatch asks, how old do they look?
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking.
You know, I don't see a child, but the camera's so far away.
Yeah, it's so hard to see. There's no light.
Like maybe
That too.
3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Oh my.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
What is he wearing?
It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
You don't see any cars anywhere?
No cars are anywhere.
And the whole thing about Carly's voice is it sounds so normal. It sounds like if I were to call 911 about a missing child or like a child that I see on the side of the road.
Yeah, it's very casual.
It's just concerned but not stressed out. It's more like a toddler, maybe 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them or are you still with them? Yes. Okay, you're with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying with the child until we get there? Yeah, sure. Dispatch asks questions about the kind of car that Carly is in. And then they go, did you talk to the child at all or did you say anything to them? No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian? They're white. Male or female? I think it's a boy. A little boy? White male? Okay, so is he wearing clothes? Yes, it's a white shirt, and it doesn't look like he has pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No cars anywhere. Okay, try to keep an eye on him as best as you can. I don't want you to lose track of him. Does he have shoes on? No, not that I can see, but I can't see him that well. It's really dark. Officers are on the way. Keep an eye on him, okay? Thank you. Okay, thanks, bye. And once she's done, she hops back on the phone with her brother's girlfriend. I will say it is important to note that the dispatch initiated the hang-up. So I saw some discourse about it online, like why did she hang up? Usually dispatch tries to stay on the phone with
Yeah, I would say like why is she not on the line still?
Yeah, right. It's very confusing.
With you, but it's pretty
It's
indicative
showing
in the
like
call
something
that
isn't
dispatch was
quite
like,
right
okay,
here.
thanks. It was like a very natural end. So now she's on the phone with the brother's girlfriend.
I guess
and
they're
the
just
brother's
thinking
girlfriend
it's not an emergency. They're just gonna send helpers. Maybe that's why they thought it was
Yeah, like
okay to
because
hang up.
well, yeah, and they didn't think like that. Supposedly from her report, the kid wasn't injured or anything like
Yeah.
that, so it wasn't urgent. But maybe someone should come out and help, like, figure out the situation. I guess.
most likely thought that she was just going to stay on the phone with her until the police arrived. But before she could even do much, she can hear Carly talking to someone. I mean, it's pretty clear Carly got out of the car, and it sounded like she was trying to ask the child if the child was okay. Like, are you okay? Are you all right? It said that Carly asked maybe 2 to 3 times, and the brother's girlfriend could not hear a response. So she never heard the toddler respond, or maybe he was too scared to speak. And then there was a scream. Some sort of shuffling. A lot of background noise. Carly's brother's girlfriend didn't even dare hang up. She starts running around the house trying to get all the Carly's family gathered, and she's screaming Carly's name into the phone.
God.
When Carly's mom found out what was going on, she picked up her own phone and starts calling Carly because, she knows that her son's girlfriend has an open line, but still, she has to at least try. She doesn't know what else she can do. Right now, all they hear is background noise, and Carly hasn't said anything after she screamed. Thankfully, the family all use Life 360, an app to share locations with family and friends. They threw on their clothes and they start racing to the location that shows up on their phones. It was a residential street.
Wait, it wasn't highway?
No, so not where Carly was. Her phone wasn't there either. The family would later find out that her phone was on the other side. So it's the highway, and in the middle, a wooded area, and then on the other side of that was a residential street. Huh. So I guess Life 360 is not like that precise.
Oh, okay. So they went to the residential area.
Yeah.
And the phone and everything is across the fence almost.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Yeah, there is a fence, yeah.
Okay.
And so they're like, oh my God, she's not here. Her phone's not here. Like, what's going on? Now, side note, Carly's mom also called 911 after she found out Carly wasn't responding to the phone anymore. There were technically 2 911 calls that made that night about this incident. The first being Carly calling about the toddler on the side of the road. Yeah. The second being Carly's mom to report the strange incident with her daughter. There would be no other calls to report a child missing or a child spotted on the highway. Just these 2 calls. And there would be no sign of Carly Russell anywhere. The police in this case, I will give it to them.
So
they were on it. I mean, the same cannot be said for a lot of missing persons cases, especially missing Black women's cases, but they were on the scene within 4 minutes-ish.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's fast.
And they started pulling CCTV cameras from the highway. We do have footage of her vanishing. But the footage is so grainy, so unclear, we can barely make out human figures in it. The footage is almost like an aerial view of the highway. It's nighttime.
You stay in the car.
It's not helpful.
All the lights are like reflecting off of each other. It shows Carly Russell's red Mercedes, though, starting to slow down with her hazard lights on. She safely pulls over to the side of the highway. And I will note one thing. As she starts slowing down, she's driving for a while. We're going to later find out exactly how long she drove for. But that was like the first thing everyone noticed is like, wow, she's driving for a long time. So did she see the kid that far ahead? Because if she did, then more people should have seen the kid. Yeah. Or was the kid like running away from her? Like, what's going on?
So we're going to find out the distance that she's driving slowly for.
And the distance is, well, I guess I can tell you right now. It's 6 football fields long.
What?
600 yards.
I think it was that far.
Yeah, I did not realize.
Oh, wow. That's...
What the fuck?
Wow.
Okay, that's weird then.
That's super odd.
She's driving for a while. Maybe she has really good eyesight. Because something else to note is, again, there were no other 911 calls made that night, nor any witnesses that came forward that stated that they also saw a child on the side of the highway. She starts slowing down. She makes it to the mile marker, like a giant sign on the highway, right? She stops the car, and from the footage, it's hard to see any child. Like, look, some people say they can make out a few figures. Other people say that they can't. I personally don't see anything, and I'm very aware that humans are more prone to see human faces and human figures in shadows. So I can't say for sure. It is, like, way too dark, way too grainy in the footage. We do see Carly's car stop, and what appears to be her driver's side door opening and, like, a blob of a figure, because this is how bad the cameras are. Leaving the driver's side area, going through the back of her car, and opening the passenger side door. So she's like walking around the back of her car, going to the passenger side, opening it, and then she seems to walk off into the wooded area. And that was the last she was seen. Yeah. To tell you how grainy the footage is, you can't even make out which direction she went in after she leaves the passenger side door. Like, you don't know if she's going northbound or southbound, or at least I can't with the footage that we have publicly available right now. She just vanished. The highway is still busy. You can see there's cars nonstop. It's 9:40 p.m. and she was gone, just vanished into thin air. And the next 48 hours would be excruciating for the family. Her parents pleaded with the public to help find their beloved daughter. Carly Russell had so much ahead of her. She had graduated Auburn University with a degree in psychology.
That would be freaky for the family.
She was a nursing student. She worked hard. Her mom described her as being so kind and compassionate. She was a joy to be around. She had this like deep love for God. And neighbors said,
bring your pitchforks
this
into the
could
woods.
have happened to any one of our kids. That's what got
We'll chase down the werewolf that took her. Or was it Dr. Frankenstein and his monster? Van Helsing, great movie. Watch it if you haven't seen it. It's fun. I mean, if you like campy adventure, the slight horror tinge.
the world so passionate. I mean, it could have been
Fantasy.
my daughter that had seen the child on the side of the road. What kind of person wouldn't stop? How could you not, right? Of course you would stop. You would do that because you're a good person. A lot of Carly's neighbors had kids that Carly once babysat for, so they were all holding prayer circles. It's Alabama, so it's pretty religious there. The prayer circles, they were holding vigils, they were looking and spending their entire weekend turning the entire town upside down. The nonprofit Crime Stoppers of Central Alabama raised money from the community, donations from people who wanted to help from afar. They were able to secure a $63,000 reward for anyone who knows anything about Carly's whereabouts.
Dang.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and
that's
then
a shitload.
quickly, right?
Yeah, like within maybe
for it to be
24
that
hours.
quick.
I mean, I don't know if there's a national average that I could find that seemed accurate.
She's like, well, I'm back. Do I get the 63K?
But many cases we've talked about, I mean, we've seen rewards of $5,000, $10,000.
Yeah, that
and that's
sounds more
usually after
realistic.
they've been missing for a period of time. This is a big deal. I think it just goes to show the whole nation wanted Carly home. Law enforcement this time, they quickly get to work, and it is not just the Hoover Police Department. I'm talking local, state, federal agents were involved.
Oh my God.
The FBI, Secret Service, and the U.S. Marshals
This
Service were
response is
involved.
nuts.
Huh. So when did it start going viral?
The same day she went missing, like the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Volunteer search parties
Wonder
made up
why.
of civilians. They hit the ground running. And at first, there were a lot of alarming
Maybe it was
rumors
just like
and
a weird,
whispers
creepy
going around.
case.
Yeah,
At
maybe.
one point, there was a rumor that a witness claimed to see a gray car pull up and a man get out to approach Carly.
Oh,
Now, I will
God.
say there's no evidence of that on the CCTV footage. But the problem is that every single tip, anonymous, reasonable or not, every tip has to be investigated. That's what the FBI mainly worked on. The case went viral and they were getting
Unfortunate.
hundreds of tips. The Russell family would get tips and they would be sent over to the police to look over as well. And it was just a lot of manpower being poured into this case. It was said at one point in time, there were about 50 or
Maybe not with
60
the
police
fake
officers
tips.
working on this case.
I know, right?
And that's not including federal agents. But
oh
like
my
Carly's
God.
parents, the agents had hope. Carly's mom told the media, "My daughter is a fighter. We believe that if there is any opportunity for her to make it home to us, she's going to seize that opportunity." She continued, "We want people to do everything in their power, no matter how big or how small, to make a joint effort." Carly's dad said, "We're going to scour the earth. There is no stopping us." And Carly had a lot of people on her side, a lot of family members who had dealt with their own loss of their own family member being a victim of a crime or having gone missing. They came out in show of solidarity and support. Anaya Blanchard's mom being one of them. Anaya Blanchard went missing in 2019 in Auburn, Alabama. She was a 19-year-old college student. She texted her roommate that she was going to be home soon. CCTV cameras showed Anaya stopping by a gas station before heading home, and her phone activity stopped around midnight. She wasn't seen alive again. About a month later, her body was found in a wooded area. She was shot to death. A man named Ibrahim Yazid had been arrested and charged with her murder. This is really not that long ago, 2019. These are some fresh wounds. But Anaya Blanchard's mother showed up to help look for Carly. And she said very emotionally, "My heart is breaking for the Russells, but I'm going to help them. I'm going to be right there beside them."
Damn.
When Anaya went missing for the whole 32 days, I mean, your body is
I really
in a
hope this is not a
constant
prank
find
now.
my child state.
Yeah, or
There's
something
nothing
really
you can say, there's
stupid or
nothing you can
some
do to make
shit.
that go away. Time is of the essence to bring Carly home. Share Carly's information with everybody.
Like, so
Tell
many
your
people
friends.
cared
Just share
about
it.
this.
Be on the lookout, everyone.
Beyond
be
that of a
safe.
normal missing person search.
I think
Like,
most people were really
this is pretty
worried that
nuts.
Carly Russell was already being human trafficked. There were some social media posts not too long ago that really stuck with a lot of women. So one famous one reads, "Ladies, please read this. Ryan, my husband, and I were at the mall. We walked out to our cars by Sears, and Ryan noticed that there was a baby crying in a car with no adult. So we pulled over to that mysterious car. Ryan got out and found out that the window was rolled down a tiny bit, and there was no baby in the car. There was like a tape recorder. It was a recording. Then I noticed that there was another shady car parked several spots down with blacked out windows, and I think that this is a setup. These are the kind of setups psychopath killers do to abduct you. Please be careful, everyone. Don't walk to the car or just call security or 911 if you hear a baby crying. Please share this to inform others."
Wow.
Another post read,
Freaky.
"This was forwarded
Oh
to me
my
by a friend.
God.
They don't know if it's true or not, but I'm passing it along. We might see this on the news as like the latest internet hoax, but Joan, my friend, just told me that her friend heard a baby crying on her porch the night before last. She called the police because it was late and she thought it was weird, and the police told her, whatever you do, do not open the door. The lady said that the baby had crawled near a window now and she could hear the baby through the window, and she was so worried that the baby was going to crawl out into the street and get run over. And the police said, we already have a unit on the way. Do not, whatever you do not open the door. Then the officer told her that they think there's a killer who uses babies' cries recorded and uses it to lure women out of their homes thinking that someone dropped off a baby. He said that it wasn't verified, but several women had called saying that they heard a baby crying outside their door when they're home alone. So these took over the internet by storm, along with the human traffickers that will zip tie your door handle at Target parking lots because that's how they mark you. Many of these have been, I don't know, I don't want to say proven false because that makes it seem like that's never happened at all, and I don't have the knowledge of that, but just they haven't been connected with human trafficking. So major advocacy groups to end human trafficking said this is not really a concern.
What is not a concern? Baby crying outside your door?
This doesn't, it seems more of like an urban myth.
What is a zip tie supposed to do?
Oh, okay. Apparently that's an urban myth too, but it's supposed to make you distracted and try to unzip tie your door handle. And it marks if you're like a single woman.
Got it.
Because they
Well,
work in
because on the
teams,
one
right?
hand,
But because all
if it's a faker, like somebody's faking make an urban myth, that almost gives people scaredness that could make people
paranoid
unlikely
unnecessarily.
to help. Yeah, but at the same time, it could have happened once or twice and was true, and we just don't know what to connect it to.
Well, and
so
at
it's
the end of the
weird.
day, the police are sending help anyway, and the baby, I mean, the baby should be fine with the 5-10 minutes it takes for them to get there, hopefully. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's worth to be precautious in that scenario because, I mean, it is pretty random. A baby just starts crying outside your home middle of the night.
It would be
pretty
weird.
weird. So it's better to have backup and then deal with the situation than not have backup.
And also, true. And also stay in parking lots, especially if you're alone. And unfortunately, especially if you're women, be very careful.
If you're the woman and you're alone, probably best to be cautious at least.
of this is constantly online, and like, don't get me wrong, I fall for these all the time. I'm like, honey, I can't.
But yeah,
go to the
it's not good
Target
to
because
fear
they're gonna zip tie my
monger
car
either.
and put a paper bag on my windshield and jump out from the back and slice my Achilles heel. And he's like, okay. But I think that this case really just resonated with a lot of women.
He's on a bender again.
I mean, these are the messages that we've been hearing. These are the messages online that have been going around for so long, and it's like, it's so frustrating. It's wow, really another thing. We can't even be kind people anymore.
No.
And then it happens.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It
It
happened
sucks.
to some random friend on Reddit, but to someone with a name. It happened to someone with a face who was so relatable. A young woman who was studying and working. It felt like Carly Russell could have been any one of us. So everyone rallied together to look for her. And then she was found. Almost exactly 49 hours later. July 15th, 2023, Hoover police receive a call from the Russell residence. Carly is home. We don't have that many details right now about how she got home, but here's what we know so far. She came home on foot. She didn't drive. Nobody dropped her off. She walked home somehow. She was barefoot. She was seen on neighbors' home security cameras walking through the neighborhood alone before arriving home. At first, the fire department, and I'm not sure where exactly the miscommunication came from, but the fire department initially thought Carly was unconscious and unresponsive. But when paramedics arrived at the scene to take care of her, she was responsive and speaking. She was rushed to the hospital to be evaluated. She was briefly questioned by the police, treated, and released. Now, I am going to go over what the police uncovered in their brief conversation with Carly once she's home and other key pieces of evidence that they found. But before that, let me walk you through the public's perception. Long before yesterday's press conference, there seemed to be a rabbit hole of inconsistencies about this case, according to the internet. For one, nobody else reported seeing a child on the side of the highway. And if you just look at the people of Hoover who came together to look for Carly, I feel like this is not a community that would just see a child and go, I'm sure someone else will deal with it. There were no reported sightings of that said child, but also there were no reports of a missing child that fit the description. But that doesn't mean that the child doesn't exist. It could have been a child that had gone missing long, long ago, or that nobody knew to be missing. But the biggest thing that everyone came back to was, if there was an abductor, if there was a child on the side of the highway, the police would absolutely announce that they were looking for this victim or this suspect after Carly got home, right? Because for like a week, the police were silent. Okay, for like 4 days, actually, the police were silent.
After Carly came home.
They released like little tidbits here and there, but they never said, hey, this is the composite sketch of the guy that we're looking for. Or this is what the baby looks out. Everyone, don't go out at night. If you hear a baby on the highway, don't stop. They didn't put out any of these. And so the community is like, are we in danger or are we not? Someone let us know. So that is the belief. Like, look, I don't know. Look, I don't know, though, because for the Idaho case, for the longest time, the public thought that the police weren't doing anything, and then they caught the person, but it's just, it was kind of shady. So one side of people believed that Carly was lying, and they said, well, they would warn the public. They would ask the public, who's already looking for answers, it's a national case, they would ask the public to be on the lookout. They didn't release any sort of sketch or anything. I mean, allegations that a child was being used to human traffic women or kidnap someone, that's a very big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty serious.
Maybe they're not doing that because there's no abductor. There's no missing child.
They just
Others
don't have
who
enough
are a bit
info.
more hesitant to believe someone would lie about something like this, they said, yeah, well, the public is already freaking out and creating all these conspiracies. Why would the police want the public involved? It would just cause more harm than good.
True.
Now, there were other things that the netizens had a hard time wrapping their heads around. There was a whole saga with the Red Roof Inn. So apparently the day after Carly Russell went missing, there was a Red Roof Inn about 12 minutes away, like 5 miles away from where Carly went missing on the highway, and a 911 call was made from what appeared to be a worker at the Red Roof Inn. And they stated to authorities that about 6 cars of family members came in, claiming to be Carly Russell's family members.
Oh my God.
And they're like pulling up looking for Carly. The family members stated that Carly personally told them that she was here.
What?
What?
So it seems like the family had a personal conversation with Carly, is initially what netizens thought. Well, it was, I guess, kind of disproven, depends if you want to take their word for it, but Carly's mother came out to state, there is a horrible and heartless hoax we want to address out of several. I received a text at some point from someone claiming to be Carly and that she was at the Red Roof Inn.
Oh my God.
However, when my family went there and knocked doors and looked for her, there was no indication that Carly was there,
people
nor
doing
had she ever
this?
been there.
Don't they realize how like they're making this so much worse with the way they?
Yeah, what the heck?
Do they not? My God, what a weird case already. What is this nonsense?
Either way, I'm mentioning this because a lot of netizens focused on it. You know, this part of the case, because it just seemed just peculiar, just strange. Now, Carly's parents were supporting her from the minute that she went missing and from the minute that she got back. They firmly believe that Carly has been kidnapped, even when she got back. They still believe without a shadow of doubt that their daughter's abductor is still out there. They stated, Carly gave her statement to the police so that the police can continue to pursue the kidnappers. But a lot of people, for some reason, don't really like their media interviews. I've seen a lot of videos, maybe too many videos, over analyzing the parents' body language. And again, while I do find body language experts to be fascinating,
it can be interesting, but it is not
Dubious.
a surefire way of telling anything. Also, like lie detector test, just as useless. Like, dude, it is not good at all. Like, so while it may be interesting to try and glean a hidden truth through the body language, it's usually not very accurate.
And oftentimes insightful. I think especially with crime cases, it's way too speculative to be productive.
Yeah, exactly.
But many netizens just didn't like how the parents were speaking of the case. So
Really?
they didn't like their body language, but they also didn't like what they were actually saying, like the words they were using. The parents kept mentioning that anything regarding the actual case, they weren't going to talk about it. They said that they weren't allowed to discuss it. I guess netizens felt as if everything sounded like they had lawyered up, which again is pure speculation, and it doesn't really matter to the case. I think anyone that is having a conversation with law enforcement would do well to have a lawyer, but that's just me, okay?
Yeah, right? I was thinking, like, wouldn't that be normal?
And Carly's parents said it's been rough, and that while Carly was missing, they had received countless malicious messages lying about where Carly was.
Oh
that
my
they knew something about
God.
Carly's
If that's the case, geez.
It doesn't seem that abnormal if that's the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't know how people could be so evil. She said now Carly is having to deal with the trauma of people just making up completely false allegations about her.
When was this speech given?
This was after Carly was found. She was like, now that she's home, she's with this trauma that she's already endured, now people are making up conspiracies that maybe she hadn't been kidnapped, maybe this kid didn't exist. There were conspiracies of maybe she was on drugs and hallucinating. Nobody else saw the kid, right? The parents also were asked about the condition that Carly was returned home in. And that's
doesn't even have to be drugs.
Wanted to know.
That's the freaky thing about your brain.
Well, yeah, it could even have been just she could have been really tired, hallucinated it for a variety of reasons, not necessarily drugs. Could be something like was wrong with her health. Like, although they took her to the emergency room, they said they treated her, but they didn't say for what.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it could have been a lot of things.
Was she injured? Did she have something to say? What did she go through? The parents were asked, what did you do when you saw her? And her mom said she was not in a good state. We tried to hug her as best we could, but we had to stand back and let medical professionals work with her. They stated that the past 49 hours that Carly was missing, and I quote, there were moments she had to physically fight for her life and mentally fight for her life. A side detail that netizens were kind of picking apart was that a correspondent that spoke with Carly's parents said that Carly's parents had said...
Well, and I also kind of want to mention that while it may be interesting to the public is not entitled to know what happened, especially in an ongoing investigation. Like,
unless it's like for your safety or
and police would do that, not the family. Like,
said, we always warned Carly that something like this could happen. They warned her that someone might try to use a child to lure her in.
What?
Okay, that's getting weird.
Okay,
like
what?
one of those internet things.
Yeah,
Okay.
that, we keep sending around. We share to the family group chats. We're like, hey, guys, be careful, right? Maybe it was like that. But I think they were saying it just as like hey, we're worried that something like this was going to happen. But a lot of doubting netizens felt like, I don't know, there's too many coincidences. And again, this is not me personally stating an opinion, just presenting what I could find during my research. And since this case is very difficult to cover without including a lot of the public discourse, a lot of netizens were like, it seems like she took inspiration from that warning. Carly Russell's boyfriend also posted on social media when Carly was found safe.
Well,
he
wrote,
thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my girlfriend's life. I have been going nonstop since I received the call that she was missing on Thursday night. I know she would have done the same for me. So I wasn't going to give up until I saw her face again. I was straight tunnel vision, even though I would get on social media in my downtime and see some of the false allegations and assumptions about me having something to do with her abduction. She was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours, so until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment. Carly's parents have also released more statements on social media. On one Facebook post from Carly's mother, it reads, and this is shortened for clarity, "Great morning. My husband and I want to make this statement again as we did last night. It's nothing more to add or take away from how we're feeling right now. God is faithful and he has answered our prayers. We are so grateful to each one of you for all your acts of kindness, generosity, and compassion that you have shown. We do ask for privacy at this time to allow us to just love on our daughter and each other with our close friends and family. For everyone that has messaged or called to rejoice with us, we are so grateful for your concern. Just as we made a commitment to not entertain negative thoughts during the time our daughter was missing, we surely will not entertain negative thoughts and statements, invalidated opinions, or sheer ignorance at such a joyous time. We pray that those that doubt God's powers, miracles, and the power of faith will be encouraged to draw closer to Him and learn the power of positive affirmations and unwavering faith. Be blessed, the Russells. They also released another statement to address rumors about donations that were made to assist in the search of Carly. So a lot of people started speculating because Carly came home and for days she was silent, and for days the police didn't release like a be on the lookout for this serial killer or this abductor or this child. They started to question, did Carly do this for attention and money? Like the Crime Stoppers reward. Who's that going to go to?
But how would...
It's kind of weird.
It's weird, but at the same time, there's no way that they would have known that this story would blow up and like...
And get them that much money?
Yeah, like, I would say it would be really unlikely to plan this to occur. Like,
yeah.
At least that side of it.
I mean, there's some reasons why some victims maybe couldn't talk about their abductor right away. But it's getting a little odd the longer it goes on that there's nothing. But it could be normal. And like you said, it'd be hard to plan exactly how much money you get off your own abduction rescue.
Yeah, especially when it was only 48 hours.
Fishy,
well, and that's the thing. She was only missing for 49 hours. It's 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days is usually not enough for something like this to just like boosh, explode open. Like, I don't know. It's very odd. Tell us what you guys think in the comments about this. Like, any thoughts, at least at this point in the video. We still have about 20 minutes, but I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I don't necessarily, it is weird what the family is doing, that's for sure. I don't want to turn away from that.
I'm leaning towards something, but I'm not sure yet.
I'm not leaning towards anything because it just is too fucking weird. I don't see a profit motive because that sounds crazy to me because there's no way they would know it would explode like this. No way.
I guess there could be a social cloud, but that's kind of weird too.
But that also doesn't make a lot of sense.
And for the search parties, who's that going to go to? So the Russells stated that they gave the money back to Crime Stoppers, who will return the money to the rightful donors. The family deny any existence of any sort of GoFundMe, and they also stated, when we initially asked for the help of the public in searching and praying for Carly's safe return, we asked for sincere prayers, not prayers or support that came with strings or entitlement. Please understand our mental state and the anguish we have experienced and that Carly is still dealing with, and understand that no matter how many demands or false narratives that are produced, we will not be bullied into doing anything that will compromise our daughter's mental well-being or the investigation. We will not entertain the negative social media comments with a response, so you can find someone else to do it.
Yeah, I mean, see, I can see both sides, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the less you speak, the more speculation people's going to draw to. So a situation like this, like people just
it's like a never-ending battle then.
Unless you give them some answer, it's only going to get bigger, right?
True.
Yeah,
I was going to say one detail is like, even if she can't speak much, did she say anything to the parents? So like we know, like I said,
well, that's what I was going to mention.
Sketch. Was it a man? Who did they hurt you? Like
but
anything?
They might
not,
not
just a nod.
But
so
maybe
we know
the
something.
Police, I don't know. And again, like maybe she's unresponsive in that topic. I don't know. Like it's confusing.
True.
I mean, yeah. And again, at the end of the day, though, the internet isn't entitled to these answers at that moment.
Also true. That's why it's so dicey.
I know it's so difficult. This is a weird one for sure.
Like I'm sure each one of us can sit here as an individual and say, well, I would never, right? But I think when you talk about a big, large mass of people, it's gonna work in the most basic.
That's true too. Like this blew up bigger than I would say anyone could have thought of. That would be intimidating in a different way, especially when there's so many random theories being proposed. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be a bit intimidating, like, and to make a blanket statement, like, leave us alone.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, even just like, say this actually happened, the crime itself, you're like, where's the baby and everything? That's why people, I think, are still going crazy. And
well, and again, just because it wasn't like, I hate to break it to people, and don't get me wrong, the community really did band together to help search for her when she went missing. But
yeah, surprisingly,
there are many a times that we have evidence of where people will literally just walk by someone who's dying on the street. Like this is things we have evidence of based on camera footage.
Unfortunately.
So it's not impossible that like people would just drive by the kid or not even notice them, to be honest. So I don't know. It's hard to say at this point. And it did seem like there was like a wooded area. Maybe the kid hid until a certain moment, and then they popped up around then when she was there. It is again weird though to think about why she drove so slow for such a long period of time.
I was agreed, like
so
maybe she's the one who happened to spot the little toddler, but then the drive for like
for how long
is like
was
weird.
Yeah, I don't what is happening?
Yeah.
Basic way of human psychology. If they felt they have poured time and effort into this, they're gonna feel entitled to answers, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they deserve them. They can feel entitled, but doesn't mean they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just, I think maybe even just the wording could have been a bit better. Yeah, just like, hey guys, she's really not okay right now. Please, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I know you guys deserve answers, but like, give me a second, you know?
Okay, but see, they don't deserve answers. They don't. They're random internet people speculating.
Yeah, you don't get like immediate answers. It's not your place.
Yeah, I mean, they can make public statements. The police might make public statements. That's fine, but that's for them to make.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of this wrong, but
No, but it was just.
Now, if it was like misconduct on the police's part, I would say we are entitled to answers.
Just, I guess people were very upset with this statement. Now,
I'm
according to
sure.
sources, Carly's dad said Carly had been struggling with, quote, bad dreams and moments where some things would make her cringe/afraid, like loud noises.
Wow.
She had, quote, different triggers since she got back. He said the whole family is traumatized. So it sounds like they're working closely with the police. They said, we don't want to do anything that would hinder the investigation, you know, things like that. So were the police on the same page?
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
And we actually got that impression long before the press conference. The police said a lot without saying a lot in the development of this case. They came out to say that they weren't looking for a child. They came out to say that no child has been reported missing. They came out to say that nobody else on this busy highway had seen that child. They also stated that after Carly was found, they were giving her time.
I will mention witness testimony is actually terrible, but we'll move on from that.
Although if you were fighting mentally and physically for 48
not
hours
that part.
to survive,
I meant more like the kid being seen or not.
True.
Yeah. That's all.
But I was just that's my thing here is like.
Yeah, they were saying she's fought
on the
for
one hand,
her
she
life.
could be traumatized, so she couldn't speak. But at the same time, there would be like visible marks.
They
she
did
would
say
know
they
something.
again. They said they treated
the police
her,
would want to
but
look
they didn't
for
say
this
for
person.
what.
Yeah, well, she showed up barefoot and a little seemingly traumatized, so they could have just went and checked her over. So
Well, but you wouldn't say treat. They
was.
wouldn't. Well, they did, at least how she described it. Stephanie said they looked her over and treated her.
Well, yeah, it could be for like a cut.
I guess. I suppose.
Or trauma.
You wouldn't say that in an
even.
investigation when a dangerous kidnapping perpetrator is on the loose. You wouldn't say that if there's a serial killer on the loose. Time is of the essence. Every law enforcement agency knows that. Finally, they gave a press conference July 19th on Wednesday, and they kind of paint an entirely different picture of what happened.
Oh, no.
And I just want to make it very clear. We don't know for sure at all what happened in these 49 hours that she was missing.
Yeah, we
Even
don't
law
know.
enforcement admit to that. Until we know, there's truly no way to say that one person is definitively guilty or not guilty or did something or didn't do something or telling the truth or not. Police have gotten it wrong before, but it's not looking good. They had so many different levels of law enforcement on this case.
Yeah, they had
and so
every
many
level.
damning things have come out in the press conference. Let's dissect everything.
That's what I'm curious
about. The police
about,
stated that they were still
found.
investigating and they wouldn't stop until they could account for all 49 hours that Carly was missing. And even though the investigation isn't over, they felt as if they owed it to the citizens to give them the facts of the case.
Yeah,
the police
fair.
stated that after Carly came back home, they were able to briefly talk to her about what had happened while she had been missing for the past 49 hours. She stated that while she was driving down the highway, she saw a little child on the side of the road, unattended. Okay, we know that. She called 911. She got out of her car to check on the child. She said that there was a man that was hiding in the shadows of the trees. He came out and started mumbling about how, oh, I'm just checking on the child too. But before Carly could do anything, the man picked her up and she screamed, dropped her phone, and she told the police he made her go over a fence, forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in an 18-wheeler in like the back of one of those big trucks. She said that there was a woman there too, but she only heard her voice and never saw the woman. She could also hear a baby crying. What did the man look like? She said that he had orange hair and a bald spot in the back. She said that she was able to get out of the truck, start running, but they caught her again. She was thrown into a car this time. They blindfolded her, but they told her that they didn't want to tie her up because they didn't want to leave any impressions or like marks on her wrists. They drove till they came to a house. They took her inside this house. They forced her to get naked, and she thinks that they took nude photos of her, but she doesn't remember any physical contact. She remembers the next day, the woman fed her cheese crackers and played with her hair. But Carly didn't remember anything else in the 49 hours. At some point, she was put back into a car and she managed to escape, and she said that she was in the West Hoover area, so she just started running and running and running. She ran past through a lot of woods until she got home. So all of this is very vague. There's not actual descriptions of how she escaped and what the house looked like. Or 49 hours is a long, lengthy period of time, especially if you've been kidnapped by criminals. These people don't just hang out for 49 hours. I mean, most kidnapping
I was
cases,
about to say,
unless they're bad at it.
it was, yeah, I guess. Or like and then maybe they didn't want the press. I don't know.
There
That's
is
like one thing you can argue.
in criminals. I mean,
and like I said, like they may not want the press that they didn't know was gonna be on it.
Yeah, because there was a lot. Because federal got on it, that would freak them out, maybe.
But one of the things that immediately, jumped to mind though was this is oddly the most aggressive yet also gentle abduction where they might murder you I've ever heard of.
Well, I don't think the murder is the goal. The goal is human trafficking, is what they're claiming.
Well, we actually don't know, but that's people's speculation.
Well, no, it's also the story she's spinning. It's like 18-wheeler being like, that's clear, like human trafficking. Taking pictures of her naked, human trafficking. It all spells human trafficking as the story here, not murder.
Maybe.
Well, that's what that's the story they're painting, that she is painting.
Things in 49 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's accurate.
The day Carly came back home, investigators took note of visual wounds.
But even
that they
then,
saw.
they like
So
smack
this is
you
not
and
to say that these are
tie you up.
Well,
You know
not
what I
all the
mean?
time. I mean, actually, I could actually understand where she's coming from, but it might be a more movie point. But like, not wanting marks on the wrist damaging the product, right?
Yeah. But they also said they made her climb a tall fence. I'm like, would you do that if you're protecting somebody? I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Usually, yeah. Well, I mean, you could make them if they were under threat, I guess, right? Like, and then they climb over. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one. Again, I'm not saying I'm buying this. I'm just saying
I know.
that the tying thing made some sense.
That she has, and I don't know if police, I'm sure that they've obtained her medical records, but from the press conference and from this initial interview with Carly when she got home, the officer said that she had a small injury to her lip, and she stated that her head hurt.
Okay.
Other things that were kind of odd is that she had $107 in cash that was stuffed in her right sock.
What?
Okay. So it sounds like what everyone else thought was going to happen. You know, she was abducted by human traffickers that lured her in with a toddler, and maybe they were amateurs, or maybe they didn't realize that this would cause such a national uproar, so they freaked out and let her
We
go.
just talked about
escape
that. So
somehow.
funny. Yep.
Well,
Definitely
during the press
thorough,
conference,
okay?
the chief of Hoover Police revealed they went through Carly's phone. Secret Service was actually involved in the analysis of Carly's phone because it was left in the grass, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Carly made... Yeah, that Secret Service was involved?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And her phone was working and all that? Okay.
Well, it just dropped. I mean, the
Carly
phone
made a
wouldn't
lot of
work.
questionable internet searches.
Oh,
July
no!
11th, 2 days before she went missing, she
You didn't delete your history, girl!
searched, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?
Why?
July 13th, the day she went missing.
You didn't pay for what?
Okay, hold on, I'll back it up. I didn't hear it either.
July 11th, 2 days before she went missing, she searched, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?
What?
What?
Amber Alert.
Whoa,
And
whoa,
two, that's only for children.
Whoa. Well, yeah, I think she knows that, but You pay for one? My child's missing. Do I need to pay you to send out an Amber Alert, please? I mean, what? What?
Wild.
What? What kind of... Oh my God. Who searches that? Who searches that? No. I would say how, like, if I was worried about my child, how do I get an Amber Alert issue?
I'm getting concerned.
I don't even think you would need to do that. You would just call 911. My child's missing, and then the police are like, all right, send out an Amber Alert. Like, I don't know. What? How much do you have to pay for one? What does that even mean? Like, what? Imagine if you could. Yeah, imagine how many people would pay for fake children being announced missing.
That'd be so bad.
Oh my God. That threw me for a loop.
The day she went missing,
now I find her completely uncredible. Like,
yeah.
But what was she doing
for
49 hours? What the fuck?
Searched how to take money from a register without being caught.
What?
Birmingham bus station. One-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville. Departure date July 13th. And lastly, the one that the internet has been up in arms about. The movie Taken.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Oh no. I will find you, and I will stuff $107 in your right sock.
We tried so hard for you, girl.
I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt,
though.
but I had suspicions like right away, right? Because of the weirdness, especially the road, the slow road, like driving. But God, this taken.
I was not gonna lie. I was
Liam,
this will still be the case. Where I was actually sadly thinking maybe this is a case of like psychosis and mental illness.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Even maybe it could be.
And even though you're mad at her, I understand why it happened and we can let it go. But if she did this intentionally, girl...
I mean, she's searching some pretty stupid how to steal from a register without being caught. Okay. God damn it. What is this?
The classic, but maybe if you guys are international listeners, the movie Taken.
Hell yeah.
It's the I'll Find You, that one. Yeah. It's about a 17-year-old girl that gets kidnapped in Paris and her
a very specific set of skills. Okay, that's the one it is.
Exactly. I don't know why, but the fact there was the cash in her sock just like weirds me out.
Father is like an ex-CIA agent who does
everything
to find her.
Who doesn't want sweaty foot?
Yeah, foot cash.
Like human trafficking market for the elite in the process.
I know you want some street cash, but not literally. Oh, whoops. There we go.
There were other searches too, computer searches that were made at Carly's place of work. They said things like maximum age for an Amber Alert. Police.
What? Does she want to be an Amber Alert? Is that what she's telling? Like she's like, oh, if only I could have been Amber Alerted in the past.
Yeah, it's weird.
What is these?
It's
like
strictly for children.
It's the angle of these searches that I'm finding so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, how old does a child have to be an Amber Alert still? Like, what?
He said that there were other searches on Carly's phone that quote shed light on her mindset, but because of respect for her privacy, the police have not released those statements or those searches.
Wow.
Crazy.
There's more.
That doesn't help.
As for the night that she went missing, we get a few more details from law enforcement. So she left work like we mentioned. CCTV cameras showed that she took a dark-colored robe from her workplace. It's kind of insinuated that she stole it, so I don't know. She took toilet paper and other items belonging to the business when she left. She ordered the Mediterranean food, picked it up, and then she went to Target like we said, and we get a more precise description of what she bought. She bought granola bars and Cheez-Its.
Oh, a bunch of snack food.
She stayed in the parking lot for a minute before heading back to drive home. She was on the phone with people she knew until she hung up to call the police about the child. Now, most of this we already knew, but the alarming thing that comes out is her purse and the Mediterranean food was found in her car. Her wig and her phone were found in the grass outside of the car. But the robe, the toilet paper roll that she took from...
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you have to have your Cheez-Its and your snacks.
And your goddamn forest toilet paper.
48 hour taken experience.
Oh my god. This Why? Why would you do this? If this is what happened, why did she do this? I don't like. There could not have been any know-how of like how blown up this would be. So maybe she really wanted some extra vacation days.
I was about to say, I'm mad though because she took those snacks, but she left the delicious
Mediterranean food. Well, no, that was for evidence. See, that made it more realistic, apparently. But you got to survive on Cheez-Its and have your freaking roll of toilet paper that you stole
from work, amongst other things, and the granola bars and Cheez-Its from Target were not in her car.
What if she ate it?
No wrappers were in her car.
Which means she ate it in the forest. Go look for the wrapper.
Had the opportunity to trash those things.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So
she still had it on her. Is what? Okay.
And if you're being kidnapped, I don't know if your kidnapper is like, hold on, grab your Cheez-Its.
What kind of rope are you talking about?
Hold on. Grab those Cheez-Its. I want some.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my. The case is getting to her. The cheese is caught in her throat.
Like if he snatched them from the car or she was tied up and he went back really quick to like throw her Apple Watch and
just saw the
steal the
cheese. Like, yeah.
But that's not apparently what was caught on footage, people don't think, and what seemingly happened. So
no, it's so weird.
He supposedly, even by her own story, just snatched her there and made her hop a fence. So no.
It's so odd. I just don't get the motive.
So I'm thinking maybe it's like one of those bathrobes that they put on before they like massage you.
Okay, got it.
Cops need to spill the tea on those.
They were not in the car. They were not anywhere near the car. So people thought that was really odd. Like if you're getting kidnapped,
is pretty odd.
Typically the kidnapper is not like, let me rifle through your car first.
And have that nice soft robe with you.
And if they would, why wouldn't they take your valuables, like your cash, your wallet, versus granola bars?
Right.
Because they're hungry.
But why would someone do this, though, I guess?
Yeah, thank you. He and I are on the same page. Why the hell would you do this?
People, their speculation is that she planned the kidnapping and she needed food. She needed toilet paper, maybe a change of clothes.
But why, right?
Okay, so there is why out there, and I'm not actually going to go into it because it's really crazy. I've seen some crazy whys out there that it's speculating that she wanted to make her boyfriend jealous, that she wanted her boyfriend to be concerned about her, that she was flunking out of nursing school, that her parents were too strict. Like, I don't know. There's so many speculations. None of them have been verified because it's all people being like, oh, I know them, or I know a friend who knows them.
Oh, God. Yeah, I can't trust any of this stuff.
And right? So we don't know if these people are making up lies for attention. We don't know. But I can only imagine when it comes out, it'll just be weird. Yeah.
Be weird.
Another thing is, police released in the press conference, like I said, that she drove 600 yards after she told 911 that she was going to follow the child until police got there. And they're saying a barefoot kid, a 3-year-old, running the length of 6 football fields in the wooded area, not even flat terrain. Skeptical, you know?
Yeah.
Now, police also stated that they asked for a second interview, and Carly has since declined. Her parents have stated that she is not in the right mental or physical space because of the trauma. Authorities stated that they have no reports of toxicology reports, whether they ordered one.
You would only benefit from supporting the investigation if it was actually something that had happened. Like...
or not, I'm not
and
sure.
You wouldn't just be cagey, like, I don't want to do this, never mind. You'd be like, it's so hard for me to know. And the parents would be like, she's struggling. This is the way they're...
Yeah, like, they would actually need to, like, be talking to psychologists and be like, hey, she's unfit to answer questions right now. Or something.
They also stated that they at least have no knowledge of any mental illness history. And I think before this press conference, myself included, I was like, wait, okay, let's hold off on making any assumptions. Just because something is unlikely or crazy doesn't make it untrue. But the press conference so far has shed kind of a...
We don't have the best track record of mental health care, so...
That's what I meant.
The fact that there's no history doesn't necessarily mean anything, sadly.
No.
Damning light on the situation. And add to that, even before the press conference, there were a lot of people that were already doubting what happened to her. Or at least
I'm doubting
that this was a human trafficking
I'll be honest, I'm doubting it pretty hard.
Dedicated much of their time to ending human trafficking.
Press X a lot to doubt.
Have come forward to talk about the case. Some more directly than others, but the end message was pretty much, it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. Many activists stated that the idea that human traffickers would use a baby to lure unsuspecting helpful women to be trafficked just isn't practical. They said the sad part about human trafficking that most people don't want to come to terms with is it's done by people you know. That new person that you started dating, your family member, your friend. They will lure you to be human trafficked since they already have that established foundation of trust.
It's so disturbingly sad.
It would cause too much of a scene to kidnap someone for human trafficking, especially someone that...
I mean, look what the attention it garnered. The human trafficker would not want that. They want as little attention as possible. They want to nab you and there be silence. Like,
at the very least, they move you quick enough before the...
Well, yeah, that's the thing is, like, 48 hours, they ain't gonna just hang around eating your Cheez-Its and granola bars.
Apparently they did, though. They just pet her hair and fed her cheeks.
Oh, and took some pictures. Don't forget that photo shoot sesh with blindfolds on.
Well, they had to add that, otherwise nothing creepy at all.
Yeah, right? Otherwise, it was a nice evening. It was a nice couple of days out in the wilderness.
Definitely, it's maybe the kidnappings for human trafficking are more common in different parts of the world or in different communities of potentially sex workers could be huge victims. Runaway teens are huge victims.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a 25-year-old established woman who is driving a red Mercedes, it's too much attention. At the end of the day, human traffickers have a business, quote. They're evil. They're evil business, right?
Yeah.
And they like to protect their quote business. So they're not going to take that big of a risk unless they have to. I mean, leaving her car there on the highway with her wig and phone left behind, that's a huge risk. It's not even she's 25, risk. Maybe she didn't want to be home anymore. It's clear there was foul play. Nobody would look at that and say, she's an adult, she just wanted to do her thing. So a lot of these activists said, it just isn't in tune with what we've been dealing with. And the CEO of the National Children's Alliance stated, not about this case in particular, but in general, we want to believe that people trafficking children are unknown, nefarious, shadowy creatures. It makes us uncomfortable to think that some of these things could happen in our own communities, in our own schools, with people who you know. Sabrina Thulander, communications director of Polaris, the nonprofit that runs the National Human Trafficking Hotline, said, as far as we are aware, this is not a tactic that traffickers use. She said that if this is true, if the traffickers use a baby to lure a victim, it would be contrary to how traffickers almost always operate in the United States.
You think if this is a hoax that she should have searched, how do human traffickers get victims?
No,
so at least it would have been more believable. Yeah, the baby urban legend.
The baby urban legend, and then the movie Taken and Amber Alert ? It's like the No Mean, where it's like the Taken movie, Amber Alert, plus Baby Snatch equals profit ?
Yeah, like what is this nonsense? Oh, I don't know, God.
Like this isn't making sense.
Gravies, help us! This is insane.
She continued, abduction is not completely unheard of, but it is very unlikely. So,
but this is why I like Rotten Mango, though. She covers some crazy shit.
If it's not human trafficking, which with the new press conference, I don't know where you stand, but let's try to entertain something did happen to her.
I mean, this takes a lot of work
maybe
to put
it wasn't a random abduction by a stranger. Maybe it was someone that she knew that followed her, or maybe someone at work that roofied her and she hallucinated into thinking that she saw a child. They followed her home and thought this is the perfect opportunity. The theory has a hiccup when CCTV cameras showed no other car pulling up, and the police said that they tracked her from her workplace to the highway, and there's no evidence that she was being followed by any vehicles.
Anyone finds the armed bald man?
Again.
No, he was hiding in the bushes, like a NPC from Fable or something.
Well, no, I'm like, does anyone spot him in the community? Does anyone know him? I'm guessing no.
Well, no, I don't think this man exists.
I think with the Google searches, both theories are pretty hard to entertain right now. So the next,
and it's such a vague description. Redhead with balding. Okay, thanks for that. Would you all stand in a line, please?
The next two theories would be more on par.
There's only so many gingers out there.
Oh my god, it's more than that line can take.
True.
Which is, did Carly have a psychological breakdown? Maybe there were things going on in her life, or she had a mental condition that we, and maybe even she herself, was not aware of, that led her to hallucinate, black out, or go into a full state of psychosis. Maybe she fully believes her version of events. And again, legally clarifying, I'm not saying her version of events isn't true, but maybe she believes everything to be true. We don't know, right?
Yeah, we have no answers. We're speculating.
We don't know, and I think we'll find out, but as of right now, we don't know. There's a different variation of this theory, though. Is this just a hoax? Did she plan it? Is this another...
Is it an elaborate hoax? No! Nuke.
Sherry Papini. Nuke. Her name has been coming up a lot, and for context, we've talked about her before on this pod, and we're going to link it in the description, but Sherry Papini was a mom of 2. She was the wife to Keith Papini from Northern California. She went missing. She went for a run and vanished. Authorities found her phone with the headphones wrapped around it on her running trail and like a big chunk of her hair on the ground. She went missing for weeks, and the whole nation was looking for her. They were like, oh my God, this poor mother, this poor wife. We were praying for her. We're grieving for her and her poor family. And then she makes it back alive. And people are like thanking the Lord, but they were also very surprised. You know? She told the world that she was being held captive by 2 Hispanic women that were honestly racist stereotypes of Hispanic women. Turned out to be a lie. She was staying with an ex-boyfriend. She had planned her whole disappearance and, quote, reappeared on the side of the road wearing restraints. She was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison and required to pay more than $300,000 in restitution.
Damn.
I will say, though, Sherry's story is, look, whether it connects to this case or not, it was insane. Like, balls to the walls, marbles gone out the door. Sherry actually branded herself literally with a hot brand of a Bible verse, like an Exodus verse on her shoulder.
Oh,
she had
God.
bruises all over her body. Her nose was broken. She did it to herself. Her hair was chopped off. She lost a big chunk of weight. Her weight was like 87 pounds when she was released from her captors. Quote. So she really worked to sell the...
Yeah, she
was gonna say, it's good that she's punished because you couldn't fake this, but and also she kind of implicated people who could have got hurt, so that's really bad.
She hurt herself. She's a danger to herself.
But at the same time, I was supposed to say, yeah, how a little bit off do you have to be to do this to yourself?
Right.
Because that's a commitment level. It's just like, whoa.
Brand yourself. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What? I'm a fucking lich and I wouldn't consider this shit. I only brand my favorite
for that. That's weird. Because that's intense.
Yeah, that is stunningly nuts. This case was weird with her, but that lady, woo, she takes the cake. I mean,
it sounds like maybe she was trying to do a hoax and didn't think it was gonna do it that big, and she just have like little social clout. Oh no.
No. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, this lady, the lady you've been following.
Oh, not the crazy one that branded herself and broke her own nose and wanted to be with her ex.
It sounds like she maybe have been trying to do a little hoax too and didn't think it's gonna get this big.
Well, it doesn't even sound like a hoax. Well, maybe the theory is right that like she wanted to make the boyfriend jealous or concerned for her. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, we don't know her reasoning without any information. Like we don't have it. We don't have it. I want to know the fucking reason though, because to me there is no reason. It makes no sense. You're not gonna. Most people would not think they're gonna get clout from that. Not that level. Not federal.
Yeah, like interpersonal, social.
Yeah, like maybe manipulating it, like someone close, maybe.
The story that she had been kidnapped and abused. She was gone for 22 days.
Jeez.
So if it's not psychosis or some other sort of somewhat explainable mental health condition, a lot of people believe that Carly might have faked her disappearance for whatever reason. Whether it's like Sherry, in the sense that Sherry just really didn't want to deal with her problems anymore. She was like, okay, I'm kind of over my life. Or some people think that Carly wanted attention.
That's so weird.
Some people think that Carly wanted attention, not from the nation. She probably didn't think it was going to get this big.
Yeah.
If that's the theory we're running with, entertaining right now.
So
imagine if you're doing this, right? You're doing this whole plot. You got your robe, you got your Cheez-Its, your toilet paper. You're just sitting out in a log, maybe getting a little high. Who knows?
He's like, they sometimes barely even come looking for you. if you're POC and you have 48 hours to wait.
And she's just chilling, right? And then she
They're
gets
only
into
maybe
town.
starting to look.
She starts walking back to town, and then she starts seeing like newspapers with her plastered all over it and this massive investigation. And she's just like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, jeez.
When she was searching,
like, that'd make a wild episode of something. Oh my god,
it really would. It'd be a funny episode of Twilight Zone.
Google search is.
I guess the speculation with those Google searches and
it's kind of like it would be like a Twilight Zone where you think no one cares, and then like the whole world suddenly cares when you disappear, and it's just odd.
This is pure speculation. We have truly no idea what she was thinking. She's trying to see if she would qualify for an Amber Alert, and people think that she doesn't want to qualify for an Amber Alert. So I think her idea, if this is
she's
the
25. What
yeah, you don't.
What the? Who thinks they qualify for an Amber Alert? 25.
Too old for an Amber Alert and too young for a Silver Alert. You just get the normal alert or whatever that is, depending on where you live.
Missing person.
Yeah. Alleged.
I mean, there's only two things.
No
right?
milk carton face for
she
you.
Doesn't qualify when she searches. So either she wants the attention as an Amber Alert, or she doesn't want the attention as an Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Right. Either or.
Yeah, I think
probably didn't want it, to be honest.
Either way,
it's hard to tell.
Weird. See, I don't want to say
really
she faked it. I don't want to believe she faked it.
Yeah, I don't want to believe that.
I want to believe.
Sure.
That you go with this, it's bad. If it was a mental breakdown, I hope.
I agree. Every angle of this is bad.
Yeah, like if it is a mental breakdown, I agree with her that like hopefully she gets help. But like, oh my god,
is very.
We're nearly
soft
at the end here
with their reception because mental health is a serious issue. But if she faked it for something that wasn't like a full-blown psychosis, it's really not well thought out at all. Like if you're gonna leave your door like that, if you're gonna say that there's a child on the side of the highway and you're gonna think to yourself that law enforcement isn't gonna care, is kind of crazy. Yeah. But I will say that there are some people that have gone off the deep end on this theory. People were saying that they knew that she was lying about this whole thing because she said that the boy on the side of the road was like 3 or 4 years old. Which I know what you're thinking. What does that even mean? But people were referencing a man named McClish, who is often interviewed as an expert of sorts for crime shows. And I just thought this was interesting. Again, I'm not trying to make this like a valid point, but he stated that the number 3 is the liar's number. He said he doesn't really know why, but after all of his investigative work, if anyone gives him the number 3, so 3 men attacked me. It was like 3 p.m. They stole $300.
Okay. That's not a great rule.
Is it like a general number?
Because that can happen. Well, you could say that about any number. 200.
Yeah.
2 is the one that the liar's number, not 3. See,
but I don't know. Maybe they have.
No, I disagree. I don't think that's a great way to do investigation. Because what if it was 3 people that attacked him? What if it was at 3 p.m.? Like,
you know what popped into my mind is the freaking Monty Python thing, where like the counting of the number will be 3.
Yeah.
4, not 5, 2,
but 3.
Right out.
1,
3,
2, 5, 3, sir. All right, 3.
He said he always does a double.
The holy hand grenade.
He doesn't say that they're lying, but he just pays extra attention to the rest of their details. Which I just thought was kind of what? I didn't even know, right?
Oh my god, though. What is this?
If it turns out she's lying, I think it would just really, really suck. I mean, not just the fact that she lied, but the fact that a lot of not so great people will use this as some sort of argument to not care about missing women, and particularly missing women of color.
That's so sad.
I also can't.
It also just wastes money because them coming out to do all these searches really does cost this money.
Oh yeah, it costed a ton of money. I mean, again, the federal got involved. I mean, that was probably one of the most expensive searches ever in that town area.
Is proven that she lied.
And even the smaller people.
Sorry.
I'm gonna probably hope that they'll still come out, but some of them may come out a little more hesitantly. And
yeah, true. Yeah,
it just sucks.
People, don't do this. Don't do this. Dumbass shit. If even if you have a psychosis break, call a hotline and get help. Don't escape for life for 49 hours.
If you have the ability, you're still aware, definitely get help.
Well, yeah,
Sometimes they
if you
don't
feel like
have
you're
the
getting to that point, definitely get help.
awareness.
That's all I'm saying. Like, it's
Yeah.
better to do that than do this. Like,
Yeah.
this is an
Don't
example
follow
of
these
what not to
ladies.
do.
Would feel if this turned out to be fake.
Again, we don't know what
The
Carly
police
did.
were asked during the press conference if
Mhm.
they were thinking of pressing charges
Allegedly.
against Carly Russell, and they stated that
In
they
game.
were focusing
Wait,
first
what?
on the 49 unaccounted hours. They haven't even discussed pressing charges, but the energy that is being given by news media and everyone, it seems like if it turns out to be a hoax, charges will be pressed.
Damn. Well, yeah.
A reporter asked the chief of police during the press conference, there has been a concern in the community that if this turns out not to be a true story, that the next woman, a young woman of color, goes missing, it wouldn't be taken seriously. How do you respond to that? The chief of police said, I would say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one. And regardless of the results of this investigation, I say we hold them to that. And again, this is just the information we have right now. And
yeah, because like they said earlier on, though, like if a call comes in, like a child's missing and a woman gets soundingly abducted on the phone, you still gotta investigate it. That's a separate case. It's completely new. Like,
yeah,
like it doesn't matter that happened in this case with a different woman. Like it's not relevant. You have to. Every case is a case by case basis, right? Like, it all needs to be investigated, and hopefully, if there are culprits, they're brought to justice.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be looking good for Carly. But even the police chief said, I'm the type of guy that says never say never. So again, legally, I'm not saying Carly lied. I'm not saying this is a hoax. But these are just the facts we have right now and how netizens have responded to said information. So on that note, I'd like to end this pod with a note. There is a website called Our Black Girls, run by journalist and activist Erica Marie Rivers. The website focuses on often untold stories of Black girls and women who have gone missing or were found dead under very suspicious, mysterious circumstances. She writes about Black girls and women who don't get space on the front pages, like Carly Russell did, or on social media when they disappeared. And she ends every single article the same way, which is she is our sister and her life matters. So, regardless of what this investigation will unravel
I like
Carly
that.
Russell,
I like that a lot.
Whether it was faked or not, and whether or not she will face charges, I hope this opens up a conversation of how little press coverage typically missing people of color get in the media. Because yes, Carly's case got national attention, but there's so many missing Black women who get no attention. And yes, Carly's case is
very true
and controversial.
I have done a little we'll end it there, but I have done a little criminology studies, and yeah, it's pretty the stats aren't good. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
The stats are not
unfortunately
good.
A lot of missing people things are even hard to follow up on no matter who you are, so it's like it's so sad to abuse this.
It really is. Like, false reporting is one of the worst things we can do for actual proper law enforcement and like getting justice served in courts. Like, it does not help when you guys put, like, in the world, people are putting out fake tips like that when they were searching for her. Like, what do they think they're doing? Do they think they're getting involved? Like, oh well, I'm part of the case.
I want to know too, because there's some people who may give you stuff that in the end isn't helpful, but they're generally like, I don't know, and but they still hope to be helpful. But some of those people, I'm like, what are you?
I mean, you could
cruel
give, like,
and insane. Like, what are you
even
doing?
if you're not directly involved with a case, what if you have like an idea from the information that has been publicly stated? You could say, I don't have any direct information. I don't know anyone in the case, but this information here made me think of this. I hope maybe that if you go at it this angle, maybe it could help you with the crime. See, that could be a helpful tip that is from a citizen. But when you're just like, oh, I'm on their second cousin removed, and I definitely know that that she
I've seen them over here, or
loves Mediterranean food, and she would never leave that behind.
Okay, hold really quick, because I have an update on this.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I don't think Rotten Mango's did an update on this. I'll double check, but I didn't see an update to this case, like a part 2, but I could be wrong. But I just did a quick Google search, and mid last year, she pleaded guilty, but avoided jail time.
What?
So
Really?
she might just have some kind of plea deal. I'd have to read into it more. She has a restitution progress of 50 monthly. She might have to pay something interesting.
Well, yeah, she cost a ton of money from the city for that. So what did she plead guilty to specifically? Do you see a charge at all?
Let me see.
Oh, we're getting the tea today, guys. My goodness.
Yeah. Ooh, she's gonna have to pay $18K back, and she's doing it $50 a month.
Damn. Yeah, you're not a good bet,
she's only working part-time.
Well, we can now definitively say she lied to the police. Wait, no, but what was the charge?
Let me see. Let me go to the other site really quick. Let's see. This is criminal charges reported falsely reporting. I'm trying to see the exact charge.
False reporting. That makes sense.
2 misdemeanor counts for filing a false police report. So that basically 2 misdemeanors.
Oh, here's a Rotten Mango update
reporting.
directly from her in the comments as well. You guys will read it along with us. Carly Russell update. She has since admitted through her attorney that she was not kidnapped. She did not see a baby on the side of the road, and she did not have contact or help from anyone while she was, quote, missing. She apologized through her attorney to the community, police, her family, and all those who helped search for her.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they kept pressing her so like she had to come clean, or she eventually just.
Well, I mean, of course they were gonna. Well, of course she was eventually gonna be pressured to come clean. The police are gonna be doing.
Big.
The police wanted something. So there you have it, guys.
She has $18K restitution and 12 months of supervised probation, community service, and mental health counseling, which probably actually I'm glad for.
Probably needs that. Needs it. She probably needs that. If you're doing crap like this, not good. Well, that's Rotten Mango, guys. That's our first video from her, and we will probably do more, maybe even on stream at our Twitch channels.
That was a wild ride, and not as sad as some things could be. So it's a good introduction.
Yeah, true. Some of Rotten Mango's ones get real rough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, look, 2 girls accidentally killed Kim Jong-un's brother, thinking it was a YouTube prank. Wow, we just posted that from Mr. Ballin not too long ago. I'm sure she talks about different aspects of the case, though. But yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Moans and Bones reaction. Bye-bye.
Bye.